Have you constantly looked at the world that we live in at the moment? What do you see? A world in distress, full of anxiety, and overall, a world without hope. But let's take a moment to go to Genesis. Genesis 1. And remember what it was that our Father had planned since the beginning. And we're going to read Genesis 1 through the 28th. Whole chapter. In the beginning, what happened in the beginning? God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Sounds like today? And darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. Verse 9, in case you're lost. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seeds, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their what? Seed, each according to its kind on the earth." And it was so. Verse 12. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, and each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the third day. Let's keep going. We're only on third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. God saw that it was good. And God blessed them by saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning the fifth day. And God said, "Woof, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kind." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on earth." So God created man in his what? Own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Verse 28, and God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over it, over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heaven, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and that was the sixth day. God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Let's just take a moment to look at all we just saw happen. God creates the heavens and the earth and starts to place them in what? In order. And it was a process where everything was being created for mankind to enjoy. Because he did it so we can live it, but we can see it. If you're from Illinois and are familiar with the Botanic Garden, raise your hand. If you're not, it's okay. When you walk into it, or when you have gone before, everywhere you turn, you're at awe. Everything is beautiful. There's flowers everywhere. The trees are like green. It depends also the time that you go. But if you were to go right now, you would see them all colors, just at all. In chapter 3 of Genesis, we see what happens. How everything is lost. Adam goes from living in perfection with a promising life to realizing that what God has said was very true. He had fallen to believe a lie. He thought that something was being hidden from him, that the Creator had lied to him. Well, now let's think about this all to see the point where what happens to the world now. Yeah, same thing. They've fallen in the lie that the Creator doesn't have something better for them. But God, because of his great love, John 3:16, we don't need to go there, we all know it, says plan B for you and me. I will send my son to fulfill what has been lost. How many of us today have been through a loss, dealt with a diagnosis that is not so good, situations, financial, mental, We can all raise our hands in this situation. What about slowing down? We talked about it the whole weekend. Because even if I'm 35, I'm slowing down as well. But what is our hope? We know that hope is not something we wish for, but it's something we know with assurance will be fulfilled. Jeremiah 29, 11 and 12. And I'm reading the NIV. And I know you guys know this, but here we go again. It's always a good reminder. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. His plans are to prosper us, not to harm us. Plans to give us what? Hope and a future. Can we call on him? Yes. Will he listen? Yes. Jeremiah 29:11 answers all of that for us. God our Father is not a man who lies, and we all know that. Since the beginning, we have seen him fulfill one after another of his promises. What he says is what's going to happen. Romans 15:4. Romans 15:4, ESV version. For whatever was written in former days was written for our what? Instruction. So does Genesis help our instruction? Yes. Genesis to Revelation helps us. That through endurance, through the encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. Isn't it amazing to see that the whole book, right in front of us or in our phones, is filled with instructions? We all can benefit from that. A long time afterward, we're going to read Joshua 23. Joshua 23, verse 1 to 3. And then we're going to skip to verse 14. And I'm reading the ESV again. A long time afterward, when the Lord had given rest to Israel from all their surrounding enemies, and Joshua was old and well advanced in years, Joshua summoned all Israel, its elders and heads, its judges and officers, and he said to them, I am now old and well advanced in years. And you have seen all that the Lord your God has done to all these nations for your sake. For whose sake? For your sake. For it is the Lord your God who has fought for you. And now I am about to go the way of all the earth. What's the way of all the earth? And you know in your hearts and souls, all of you, that not one word has failed of all the good things that the Lord your God promised concerning you. All have come to pass for you. Not one of them has failed. Well, we see how Joshua recognized that something was happening to him. He was getting old. He knew where he was going. But he also was assured of that everything that he had gone through and every promise that he had received from his father was done. But from God, right? Now our Father. A long time ago, many of you guys remember Alex, our sister Alex. And right before she fell asleep, I remember hearing how she said, it came out of her mouth, that she was ready to go. When I heard that, it filled me with a lot of questions. And I didn't understand. So I asked God, I was like, okay, God, what is this? How is it that humans can say they're ready to go? And I want to understand it. I didn't understand it for a long time. Look at how many years has gone by till now. Because I understand that she was ready because she was assured and that she had hope for what her father had showed her. And that has really fulfilled my heart to know that, because at first I still repeat it because I didn't understand. How do you get to a point where you know where you're going and you can be so assured that you're ready to just go to sleep? But she had hope. Joshua had hope and knew that he can rely on his God. Aging is part of this world, but we still see promises that can benefit us, like Psalm 92. Psalm 92, 14 and 15. And I'm reading the ESV. They still bear fruit in old age. They are ever full of sap and green, to declare that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteous in him. How can we continue to endure together in this hope? Through the scriptures. Because all written in former days were written for our instruction. Let's take a look at Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30. Matthew 11, 28 through 30. And this is the ESV as well. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Jeremiah 33, 6. Kidding. This is what happens when you use your phone more than your written Bible. Jeremiah 33, 6. So these verses are just some out of all the promises that we have available. 33, 6. Behold, I will bring to it health and healing, and I will heal them and reveal to them abundance of prosperity and security. Let's take it a little further now. We saw the beginning, how everything was very good. Through Jesus, we gain so much. What comes with that? We have full access to our Father with so many promises, like we saw. Yes, we have risen with Christ and have received power from up high. The dead will rise and the living will be given a new body. But what else? Isaiah 65, 17. Isaiah 65, 17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered or come into mind. Revelation 21, 4. All the way in the back. Revelation 21, 4. Revelation 21, 4. And it says, and he shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore. The first things are passed away. Can you imagine a life like that? What we constantly see around is completely the opposite of what it is waiting for us. No more hurt, No more death, no more mourning, wiping tears. Remember how we started in the beginning? Let's be sure to bring in remembrance that what we have received is beyond greater than what we can see physically right now. It's not that we can't have joy. We could have joy and hope because we have received it from our Father that gives us endurance and who supplies and encourages us. Are we all from the same background? Definitely not. Nope. But we can benefit together of that hope that our Father has planned from the beginning for his children. We have a king. As we come together, let us remind ourselves of what we await. Let us abound in hope and constantly trusting that this life is temporary, but the everlasting one will be beyond what we can imagine. If you need a reminder, be sure to step outside, look around, and remember what he wanted since the beginning, for us to enjoy that he has done now for what is there to come. God bless.